Hello and welcome to Rain's Kitchen and Garden. My name is Rain. Today I'm going to show you how to make my homemade marinara sauce. So let's begin. The first thing I did was I poured 4 tablespoons of light tasting olive oil, that's about 46 mils, into my pot, and I put the heat up to medium to heat up the oil. Then I added 4 medium chopped onions. So that's what you're seeing now. And I'm just going to add a little bit of salt, maybe about 1/2 teaspoon. I'm going to cook these about 7 to 10 minutes until they're nice and soft, and I'm going to keep my eye on the heat because I don't want my onions to burn. My onions have been cooking for 10 minutes and they're really nice and soft looking. So I'm going to add 6 cloves of chopped garlic. And I'm going to let that cook for 1 minute. Now I'm going to add 1/2 cup or 125 milliliters of red wine to deglaze the bottom of the pot. Deglazing the pot just means getting all of the little bits that may have stuck on the bottom of the pot, and wine works very well for that. It helps to loosen all those little bits up. Look at that color. I'm going to turn my heat up a little bit to medium-high because the wine cooled my onion mix down a little bit. Okay, so a little bit of wine for the pot and a little bit for the chef. The next step is adding the tomatoes. I've got my home canned tomatoes. I'm going to add 4 pints. That's the equivalent of 2,000 mils or 2 liters. And don't worry too much about big pieces of tomatoes or the size that you chopped your onions or your garlic, because in the end we're going to be blending this. It's going to be a blended marinara sauce. All right, I'm going to turn that heat up a little higher to maximum because I do want it to come to a boil. I'm giving that a little stir, and I'm going to add some sugar. I'm adding 2 teaspoons of brown sugar. That's about 10 grams. You don't have to use brown sugar, but I like to use brown sugar because I do like the taste. And the reason why I use sugar is because when I can my tomatoes, I use lemon juice. And the sugar sort of counteracts that sourness of the lemon juice. You can do that also if you buy canned tomatoes, because I find when I use store-bought canned tomatoes, I can taste a little bit of tin flavor, and every time I put sugar in it, it makes that tin flavor disappear. Now we've got some herbs. I have a teaspoon each, or 0.5 grams each, of basil, oregano, and parsley. So let's mix that in really, really well, and we're going to bring that up to a boil. It smells divine. This is a very easy sauce to make. All right, let's let that come up to a boil. My sauce is boiling, so I'm going to give that a little stir. Make sure all the onions are down into the sauce. I'm going to cover that and lower the heat and let it simmer for 30 minutes. My marinara is all cooked, and I left it on the counter for about 10 to 15 minutes to try to cool it off a little bit, but it's still steaming. It's pretty hot. It's time to blend it, and I just wanted to mention a little something about blending. If you're using a stick blender like I am, the best way to blend is to turn your pot and put the stick blender into the deepest area right at the bottom. Don't ever lift up your stick blender while it's on, okay? Especially when you're doing hot sauces and things like that, because it will splash and it will burn you. Please, please be careful. And if you don't have a stick blender, if you don't have a stick blender and you're using a regular blender, you have to make sure your sauce cools completely, because if you put too much sauce into a blender that's really hot, it's going to pop the top. It happened to me. So just really, really be careful. Oh, well, you hear the timer in the back? You guys are going to get a visual bonus here. I've been baking bread because I wanted some bread to dip my marinara sauce in. So I've got 2 loaves of delicious bread. Here's the other one. Oh, there's nothing like fresh baked bread, is there? Okay, so you got that little visual bonus. Let's start blending the marinara sauce. And I'm going to be really, really careful. See, my stick blender goes all the way to the bottom, so it's okay if I go around and blend it this way. But at one point, I'm going to be tilting it. And I want to make sure that this part of the blender is always below the liquid line. I have most of the large pieces blended, so now I'm going to tilt, okay? And I hope that you'll still be able to see what I'm doing, because I want to make sure every little bit is blended. Well, my recipe made nearly 5 pints of marinara sauce. I'm pretty happy about that. I'm going to store them in mason jars and I'm going to put them in my fridge. Now, I know that I'm going to be using the marinara sauce within the next week and a half. I wouldn't keep it longer than 2 weeks, but that's just me. You'll have to test it on your own. If you make a lot of this, and you can double and triple the batch and then can it, that would be something you can do, and that's what I do very often. And I'll do a video on canning marinara sauce in the future. If you have any left over after about a week and a half, I would suggest you just transfer it to a container and put it in the freezer. It freezes very, very well. You can do so much with marinara sauce. We use it for most of our pasta sauces, especially with lasagna. You can use it to make meatballs. You can make an eggplant parmesan. And I personally like to just dip bread in it. It's so delicious. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of this video. Do you like marinara sauce? I'd like to read your comments. I do love them and I love to respond to them. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any of my uploads or my community posts. Thank you so much for being here with me. This is Rain from Rain's Kitchen and Garden. See you next time. Bye.